We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. It's a great day to be alive on The Dead Jeff Show, WWE edition, Elimination Chamber follow-up edition. Come on in, everybody. I'm Jeff. That's Nick. Welcome into the show. And man, the Elimination Chamber happened yesterday, and it kind of went as we feared and predicted, but we'll get into that as we go. So let's get right into it. There's no time like the present. Let's just jump right into it, right? So, Elimination Chamber. It was the women's Elimination Chamber match was first. Then you had Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Kiana James, and Alexa Bliss in the match, right? So going in, if you were to say, who's the most predictable person that's going to win this match, what would you have said?
If I had to power rank them pre the match, I would have been conflicted. Just being totally, I would have been conflicted between Stratton and Rhea. Like I would have been conflicted there. I would have landed on Rhea, but I think I'll give a little bit of a shred of like okay. I had a little doubt, but yeah, I mean I would have landed on Rhea always.
Yeah, with Jade Cargill being who they're going to face, the winner
Right.
of this match,
Right.
I felt like it was going to be a power on power match. So it'd be Rhea, or I thought Raquel Rodriguez might get the nod. I wasn't even thinking Tiffany Stratton would get the nod, honestly. Although I want to say she did well in this match. I thought so. So let's get to it. So Stratton starts the match with Kiana James, and both of these two were surprising in this match. Kiana James really showed me something in this match. But I think Alexa Bliss was the biggest star of this match, in my opinion. So obviously, if you're not familiar with the Elimination Chamber, then you probably aren't listening to this show. So do we have to really explain it, right?
Probably not.
It's 4 pods, and there's 2 people that start the match. There's 4 pods. After 5 minutes, one person gets released from the pod, and I think it's 2 minutes after that, another person gets released randomly. So that's how, and it's in this big steel structure that looks impressive, man. It looks massive. It looks pretty heinous. And I thought they used the structure well in this match, as they tend to do. But Stratton and James start the match, and just early on, I thought they did well. I guess I'll just kind of give an overview of the match. You had the order of elimination. Bliss was eliminated by Kiana James after Asuka hit her with the mist. I think she missed. I think most of it got in Alexa Bliss's hair. It was a little bit on her face,
and like on her, like right below her chin. It was like kind of like a mustache thing or like a goatee thing going on. Yeah, definitely didn't get her in the eyes.
Yeah, so maybe Asuka needs a little bit of aim. She's not up to Kabuki standards from World Class, who used to spit that mist all the time. But Bliss was eliminated by Kiana James. James and Asuka were both eliminated at the same time by Raquel Rodriguez, which was very cool spot in the match.
Very cool.
Then Stratton eliminated Raquel Rodriguez, and then Ripley eliminated Stratton to win, and she's going on to WrestleMania to face Jade Cargill. Just give me your thoughts about this match, maybe what stood out the most to you.
Yeah, I think for me it's exactly what you said. Alexa Bliss looked amazing. Her charisma, and obviously I think so often like the undersized people just kind of look undersized. If you look in the history of WWE, like from my time, you talking about like the Evan Bournes and like the Ricochets and some of these guys that are like uber athletic, but then it just doesn't quite translate. Like the one guy that obviously stands apart, like is separate in that is Rey Mysterio. I think Alexa Bliss has that in the female side. It's like the size for 99% of the roster works against them, and it kind of that glass ceiling stays there. Alexa Bliss, it works for her. It perfectly encapsulate everything she does. It's kind of forever the underdog, always being able to overcome. Such a star. And then the other thing for me, and not that this is the worst kept secret ever, but Tiffany Stratton's athleticism, the way she presents, I love that she wasn't in all white. That was immediately something that grabbed my attention. Like, it's the little things, it's the little tiny things, and it's also the thing that pisses you off because it's like, it's there, man. There's so much that we can do with this particular roster. Like, these women are like, this was a the match itself. Like, let's not talk about story, let's not talk about predictability, just a match. This is a really good match. Like, just give me these females in any combination. Give me some story, please. But just put them in the ring and let them go. So I think those would be kind of the main things that stick out to me. Are Alexa Bliss is absolutely who we think she is, and I like the little bit of nuance in what they're doing with Tiffany Stratton. Hopefully, it can actually lead somewhere for her.
Yeah, I think the look, she definitely looked different, and I like this look. I think she was in black and red,
Yep.
and it worked well for her. And I agree with that. I think if you told me what was the clue that Rhea was going to win, it was them losing the tag titles on
Yep.
SmackDown. So
Yep.
I think it was SmackDown. It all runs together, but them losing the
Mhm.
titles kind of made it kind of a clear sign. Okay, Rhea's about to win and go on and face Jade at WrestleMania. There was, one thing I hope doesn't happen is with Asuka spitting the mist in, Bliss's face. That now we're going to get more Charlotte and a Bliss versus Kabuki Warriors. We've been down that trail so many times. I hope we don't get that again. But the matches they do are great. And I will say this about Stratton, going back to her, she took a lot of bumps. I think her nose was
Mhm.
bloodied in this match,
Her lip
and
too, I think. Yeah.
yeah, I think she took a lot of the big bumps, and of course we had the diving off the pod from Alexa that
Mhm.
Kiana James escaped and didn't, or I think it was either her or Oscar didn't get hit by it. But Kiana James, the more they give her, the more she's impressing, and so maybe they'll
Mhm.
give her more, and she won't be Julia's sidekick for much longer. But I thought the match was okay. It was kind of just average for me. But with all that talent in there, I guess I was expecting more. My expectations were higher. It was a good match. I just didn't, the Raquel eliminating both of them at the same time. I thought that was cool, kind of making her such a powerhouse. But I don't think. Well, I'll say this. It was probably a B minus for me. The match. It was above average, but slightly. You know what I mean? For me, I would call this a B minus because of the predictability and because of the expected spots were there, and we were maybe I was going in wanting something cool, but anyway, what we got set up is Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, and you got Asuka and Bliss maybe headed for some confrontation, and then maybe Tiffy time and Raquel. Maybe we can see more from them too because she was eliminated by Stratton, so maybe we'll see something down the line. Anything else on the women's chamber match?
No, just to your point about Kabuki and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, I'm still holding out hope. I said this probably a month ago, maybe more now at this point. I'm still holding out hope that we get a women's TLC. So I agree with you. Don't give me Kabuki and Alexa and Charlotte again, unless you're going to throw in a third team and you're going to let them go TLC for the titles at Mania. That
Yeah.
would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it's two-night WrestleMania. You gotta make matches, right? So maybe
Yeah.
that's what will be the WrestleMania showdown. One thing I almost forgot about, and I really wanted to point this out, was Jade Cargill. They showed her like one time during this match, and then
Mhm.
one time at the end. I think like it was at the beginning
Yep.
and end. There was no reaction shots. They didn't keep going to her, which I thought maybe was a little bit of a miss in telling the story. Um, but she hasn't really defended this title, and I don't really know what to make of her reign. But there's no way I would put her over Rhea in this match unless you want Rhea to chase a little longer.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, the only way you can have Jade go over Rhea, and I have no idea how you make this make sense, is if you bring like if you let Io go heel and turn on Rhea, or like it's got to be something crazy off the wall like that for Rhea to lose. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, you're 100% right. It would be a really bad booking decision to have Cargill go over clean.
Well, this creative team's made bad booking decisions all year,
Yeah,
so
this is
you can't
fair.
put anything past them. And
That's fair.
I know it's kind of cliche and cool for us to be negative and critique the booking, but come on, guys, they've earned it this time. They've really earned it.
Yeah.
Um, the next match, so I give that one a B minus. What do you give that one?
I'd probably go B just because you know, again, I'm a little bit more of a sucker for or Alexa Bliss and Tiffy Stratton's just the
Yeah.
differences and nuance there. So I'd go B.
Okay. All right. Next is the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. And I think coming into this match, AJ Lee has beat Becky Lynch twice, is it? Now since
Mhm.
this
Yep.
comeback? Okay. Well, she beat her a third time in this match. AJ Lee is a new Women's Intercontinental Champion. She defeated Becky Lynch in on the tap out on the Black Widow. And this match was a little bit sloppy. AJ Lee looked a little bit rusty. I think she also bled a little bit from the mouth
Yep.
in here on
The
some
mouth. Yep.
misses. I think one thing I remember is Michael Cole setting up the ref's involvement very early by drawing attention to Becky Lynch. She's had her issues with Jessica Carr as they
Yeah.
showed Becky and Jessica kind of looking over her shoulder in the background, and that was foreshadowing. I don't know if you think that's great storytelling or well, now we know how this is going to go. So it could go either way. Sometimes when you've been watching wrestling a lot, you get wrapped up into okay, I know this where this is going instead of this, suspending disbelief. But I thought it was a decent match, average. I think the announcers were doing a great job in this match of trying to sell it and but the referee being that much involved with all those bumps, that's where you kind of lost me with okay, she's took a kick, okay, she did this. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was too much with the referee. But I understand they wanted that drama and they also wanted to protect Becky Lynch a little bit from losing to AJ Lee for a third time. So, give me your thoughts on this match.
Yeah, just to the point about the foreshadowing, I guess I wasn't dialed in the way I should have been because I missed that one over my head. Like I didn't even. I mean, in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. I guess I just wasn't. I think I was too busy. Something must have distracted me because had I paid attention, I'm sure I would have got there too. I agree. To me, this is, and I'm going to be a little bit more critical of this one just because I think so highly of Becky. Now, obviously, you know, she's not quite Shawn Michaels where she can go out there and wrestle a broom and it be good. But so I think AJ, she's 38. She had quite a bit of ring rust. She was away from it for 10 years, whatever it was. So,
What's our first singles
I think
match
this is gonna,
in a decade? First
yeah,
singles match in a decade.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, it's just like I think the expectations probably had to be a little bit lower going into this one. They gave him a little bit more time than I thought they would too. Now I know with the shenanigans, like you kind of had to do that. But even before we got to the first one, it just felt like it went on a little too long. Now that's probably because of the sloppiness. Ultimately, not surprised that they put the strap on AJ. Obviously, you know, in Chicago and the whole thing. So it was okay. I mean, I would probably go like C plus on this one.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, I
the
think
fine the I was gonna say I think the end there, the way that she put her in the Black Widow at the very end, like that was pretty cool. I mean, I know she kind of always finds little different ways to get herself into that, but other than that, I mean, to me, it's a little normal.
yeah, I think the referee involvement and it helped telling the story was just okay. Uh, AJ Lee looked decent for someone who hasn't wrestled a singles match in over 10 years. Now, tag matches are different and what's expected of you, right? And then
Uh,
when you have what was it a triple threat with AJ Lee or a fatal four? I don't even remember how
it was a
she beat.
triple threat.
Yeah.
I think it was a
So
triple.
so there's not you don't have to you know go the whole match. So this was the first time she's had to do that. So a little rust could be expected. And the crowd, being in Chicago, I was expecting more. Either it didn't translate on TV, um, because I know they popped big time for her. I just
Yeah,
to me, I would probably go a C, C, just average. And I hope that
yeah,
obviously we'll probably get a rematch at WrestleMania, most likely. And there's no way they can let
yeah.
AJ Lee beat Lynch again, right?
No, I'm surprised they did it this many times, honestly, because I don't know. I mean, obviously, you would imagine that AJ is. the part timer here, and Becky. I know she keeps talking about she's closer to the end than the beginning, but with Seth and them being on the road and stuff, like you would think she's gonna certainly be more visible than AJ would be. So this is weird. The only thing I can think of is you want another heel to get the Intercontinental strap. You can have Becky cost AJ that, and then that puts him into the program for Mania. Um, is the only because I mean, clearly AJ and Becky don't need the Intercontinental title to help make their match, and that could benefit else, somebody else's thing they got going on. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm shocked that they've let her beat her this many times now, but certainly they can't do it again.
Well, maybe AJ has a little bit more time to get ready for WrestleMania, and we'll see if that is in fact the way they go. I don't imagine that. I can't imagine they would just end it there. So we'll see what we get from there. All right, the next match
Yeah,
is the World Heavyweight Championship match: CM Punk versus Finn Balor. And one thing I'll say about the entrances here is CM Punk came out to the old Chicago Bulls announcer
yeah, yeah.
and their whole song and that whole thing.
Mhm.
Kind of cool. Maybe lost on some of these wrestling people, but not the people in Chicago, right? Um, and then Balor came out with his old music. And the only thing missing was the lights flashing on when he raised his hands. So, but it was cool to
Yeah,
hear his old music again. But the crowd was hyped to see CM Punk, and they showed him coming out almost Goldberg style, coming out of the dressing room and
yeah.
walking to the curtain as they play the Bulls deal. What'd you think about that? The entrances.
Yeah, I really well, first of all, the flashing lights thing stuck out like a sore thumb, man. That was so incredibly of an obvious miss. I imagine it was unintentional. I hope somebody got not that I hope somebody got fired, but like that, that's a problem. But so that was obvious. But then, like you, and I'm a huge, I love Space Jam, and so at the original Space Jam, and so they kind of brought back memories of the end whenever Jordan's coming back and the playing the music and the just all of it. It was awesome, and kudos to Punk, right? Because the dude's a storyteller. The dude is sports entertainer through and through, professional wrestler through and through. Like he perfectly does both sides very, very well. Um, Whoever's idea that was fantastic. So yeah, intros would have been top notch had we gotten the strobe lighting effect like we should have, but the Punk thing was really cool.
Well, and this match was better than I anticipated. Finn Balor looked amazing in this match. And CM Punk, this was a good test for him physically. I think Finn Balor can go. And of course, CM Punk won. He will defend his championship against
Mhm.
Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42. But Finn gave him all he could for a match that we obviously knew who was going to win. I thought I thought it was
Mhm.
pretty good, honestly. And I know some people didn't like the match. Some people loved the match. I'm probably in between that. I thought it was good. I thought that early on Finn looked great, right? And then you know the stuff outside the ring, the drop kick through the barricade, all that stuff. It was good. I thought they made good use of the outside stuff. Um, I think Balor looked like a main eventer. I mean, in this match,
Mhm.
and where he hasn't looked that way in a long time. Hopefully, all this Judgment Day nonsense is behind us, right? And everyone knew Punk was going to win. The crowd knew it. We knew it. But I thought it kept my interest, even though I knew who was going to win.
Yeah, for sure. This is a match, and I just looked it up just because I didn't know exactly how long it was. 20 minutes and 22 seconds. It did not feel that long. It felt like it felt necessary. It felt like a necessary 20 minutes. It's never felt stale or stagnant, although Roman Reigns would disagree based on his tweet. But it really didn't feel that way. I agree with you completely. I think Balor showed exactly what Balor fans think has always been true, which is this is an underutilized guy that can absolutely be a main event player. I love this match from beginning to end, and honestly, I kind of was surprised a little by Punk. Like Punk, you know, for a guy that's certainly getting up there, he looked great. I mean, there have been some times in the past where I think he could have been accused of being a little sloppy, maybe getting a little gassed. Um, maybe he enjoys working with Balor. Maybe he's just in a really good swing right now. Athletes get in the zone all the time, but this was great, man. I actually really, really enjoyed this. I would probably go B plus, A minus. I'd kind of teeter on there. And the only reason I would not go all the way is, and not that they were ever going to take the strap off Punk, but again, it's what's happened before it and then what happens after it. It just all kind of felt predictable. And so I think the knock on it isn't necessarily in the match. It's that of all these matches, this is the one that you were 1,000% wasn't going to be anything other than this, and we got that all night long. So it's hard not to kind of let that come into play in this conversation.
Well, and a couple things I want to mention. Of course, after the match, Finn Balor showed respect to Punk, which is kind of pushing him towards his face run and maybe the implosion of Judgment
Yep,
Day. So that maybe that's where they take that, and maybe it'll be Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Maybe we'll get that.
that'd
Um,
be awesome. That'd
that's
be
what
awesome.
it sort of looks like. Um, but I think Punk being a fighting champion, I think that's a good thing, right? In opposition to Roman
Hmm.
Reigns. Now we got the contrast. You talked about Reigns tweeting at CM Punk and Finn Balor during the match. What exactly? Do you know what the tweet said? I don't have that pulled up,
Yeah, I
but
do. Yeah, I have it literally right here. He said, he said, I don't know who was more bored, the crowd. Hold on, wait a minute. Sorry, it just like ducked out on me. So weird. It just kicked me out.
doesn't want
There it
Roman
is.
Reigns'
I'm not
words
sure
on
who
here.
looked more tired, the crowd. Yeah, not sure who looked more tired, the crowd or the champion. Enjoy the final month of relevancy.
Well, I think it's hilarious, and whether you're a Roman Reigns guy or not, the truth is, it is in direct opposition to what Cody and Punk represent, the fighting champion. What's happening?
Oh, you said if you weren't a
Oh,
Roman Reigns guy, so I was putting up my one.
oh, I thought you were making me aware that there's some technical difficulties,
No,
man.
no, no, no.
No,
There's
okay,
no.
yeah,
I just want to hear the question.
He's
I'm
a
putting up
Roman
for one.
Reigns. Yeah, you're a
Yeah,
Roman Reigns guy. I get it, but to me, I like my champion to show up and do stuff. I think it's great that Roman is an attraction. He's an attraction now versus a real champion,
yeah,
and I think
yeah.
that does bode well actually for the WWE. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna
Sure.
go all John Cena on him, and then John Cena did the exact same thing. But I think it's good that we have this contrasting styles. But I'm interested to see what the build-up's going to be to WrestleMania and how many times Roman's involved.
Yeah, man, that's the one fear I have here because this match needs so little. Anything these two do, as we saw from the promo, it's going to be money. You don't need to write promos. And I think it just occurred to me to say this, and I hate it because I hate that it's true. The less the creative team has to do, the better. And with these two, the creative team isn't going to have to do much. Just get out of the way. Don't overproduce this. Just let them go. Um, and unfortunately, if we get more than 3 dates between now and Mania, I'll be shocked. Like, I just don't, Mania is the weekend of April 20th, 22nd, I think. Um, and so if you're talking about basically 7 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, if we get 3 dates with Roman and Punk, I'll be happy, I guess. I hate that that's true, but it's just what I'm feeling.
Well, the promo they did, the one promo they have done to hype this match was better than any other hype that we've seen. So if we just get two more of
Yep.
those, I think that'll work. But we need them to get personal and keep that element going. And we'll just see where it
Mhm.
goes. I gave this match a B minus because I was surprised by how good Balor looked as far as main event status, and Punk rose to the occasion. I don't disagree with Roman that CM Punk looked real tired. Now he was a little tired, but I think that's a funny tweet, and it's funny that they're still called tweets, by the way.
Yeah.
All right,
Guess they
so
can't be called X's.
no, well that'd be hilarious. All right, now the most ridiculous thing that we've seen in a while. I know I prefaced this in other shows on the Dead Jeff Show, regular show, about this being something like the gobbledygooker, and then I saw Dave Meltzer said the same thing. I said it before he did, so you can check the archives on that. But this stupid crate that they've been hyping up for 3 weeks or whatever the case may be, we all
Uh,
knew it was going to be something disappointing. And whether you like this guy or not, I don't think the WWE did him any favors with this build-up and then having him be revealed on an Elimination Chamber show. The crate opens, and soon as Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce opened that crate, they hightailed it out of there. Once they saw it was a coffin inside the crate, they're like, I don't know what this is, and we're out. It's like, we don't want to be associated with this. We'll open it, but let us get out of here. And then out comes these vampire women, vampires. I don't know how you call it. What do you call those guys? But and then Danhausen comes out.
Vampiras, I
Vampire, yeah. Well, they come out and Danhausen is here. He's here to curse the WWE, the audience. He goes down to the ring. He gets booed by the crowd and gives Michael Cole a jar of teeth, maybe. And this whole
yeah.
thing was just nonsensical. I know if you like Danhausen or not, this was not the spot to do this. I think his reveal should have been on a Raw or a SmackDown so that you didn't put that kind of pressure on him. To have him go out there and have the crowd just boo him and the way he's dressed like a vampire. He looked like a kid dressed as a vampire. And I know he's funny, and I know people like him, his shtick, but I just didn't think this was the right place to do this. What did you think?
Yeah, uh, I just don't understand. It almost feels like Triple H wanted to have his gobbledygooker moment. Like, this almost feels intentional. And as I don't watch the pressers, but I saw and I kept it clipped here when I was looking through it. He said, based I'm paraphrasing, but basically Michael Cole got a nice bucket of teeth. I think we're in for a fun time. Whatever it is, it's gonna be a blast. That's from Triple H on what should have been a huge like, what are we doing? Like, this feels like he's trolling. Like, this doesn't feel serious. I don't know
Well,
how it could be because you're right. It looks like dude had a 6-year-old paint his I just don't understand.
well, if you're familiar with Danhausen, this is sort of part of his gimmick, and some you could take it or leave it. But the thing is, they didn't even let him talk. He didn't give a promo. He didn't say much at all. And so he just got in the ring, acted a little goofy. He got booed, gave the teeth to Michael Cole, and the place went dark and it was over, right? They were gone. So just I think if you're going to do this, do it on Raw or SmackDown. And look, I'm not a Danhausen fan, but I can understand people that like him. I'm just not one of those people that like this kind of goofy stuff. The comedy stuff I like is Booker T, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, that kind of
Our
stuff.
truce.
Gold Dust, that kind of humor is funny. But maybe I'm old man, get off my lawn on this one. I just didn't get why they would put this guy in that situation on such a big show to get him booed. And Chicago fans aren't going to take that nonsense. They're not going to. It's just bad timing, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it because I'm just kind of looking through here. I'm gonna get it from the AEW fans because I've heard the name before a few times because I read a lot of AEW stuff. I don't want to be totally out of touch, but I don't, there's not a lot of things that I'll go back and watch. So I'll read like the results of a Dynamite or any of their big pay-per-views. So I've heard the name before. I've seen the name before, but I'd never seen him. This is the first time I've ever physically seen him. So I apologize, AEW fans, for not knowing, what this guy's shtick is and the gimmick and all that stuff. I guess we'll see. I mean, I cannot be the only person that this is the first time they are ever experiencing Danhausen. I'm sure I'll open my mind and see if maybe I'll come on board, I guess. But as of right now, I'm not in a good spot with this, with where we're going here.
Well, it was one notch above the gobbledygooker. If you're out there rating, I gave this segment a D, because I felt bad for Danhausen, so I didn't want to give him an F because I don't think this was his doing. They put him in this situation, so I gave him a D. D for Danhausen.
D minus for me.
All right, and the last match of the evening was the men's elimination chamber. Now, we need to set the stage here because on SmackDown, previous to the Elimination Chamber. Jey Uso got attacked by a unknown person, which to me, this was because of the injury to Bronson Reed. This is what happened. They had called a curveball, had Jey win that match. He goes on to the Elimination Chamber. Well, they decided, I guess, they wanted Jey out of that match. So he got attacked, and it's either going to be, Sami Zayn or Jacob Fatu. That's who they want us to think it was that attacked him. I probably lean
Yep.
myself towards Sami Zayn. But then we had a match on SmackDown from Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu. Winner goes to the Elimination Chamber after some shenanigans. A masked man that was unmasked, and everyone's going, "Who is this guy?" I think that was that match, wasn't it? Yeah, the Don
Yes.
Furio mask, and then
Yep.
Logan Paul wins that match against Jacob Fatu and goes on to Elimination Chamber. So I don't know if you want to say anything about Jey Uso and the way they did him here and all that stuff.
I just think it's they are in this little LA Knight kind of ish place with Jey Uso where like it's almost like they want him to be around because merchandise is so good, but they don't really want him to be involved in the wrestling. It's just weird. It feels like they're not quite sure what they want to do with him. I honestly wish they would just leave him and Jay alone and him and Jimmy alone and just let him run the tag team division and just feud down there and stop trying to bring him into the singles.
Well, the only difference between LA Knight and Jey Uso is they actually let Jey win the title.
Right.
And so that's the only difference. And we'll get to LA Knight's performance where he had a major snafu in this match. But this match was Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, Trick Williams, LA Knight, and Javon Evans. I believe it was Javon Evans and Cody Rhodes who started the match, both wearing
That's right.
gold tights. Cody's had blue on
Mm-hmm.
his. I don't know. I think Javon maybe had white or white and black on his.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this show and you don't know who won, Randy Orton won and will go challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, we think. And we'll tell you why we want to get into this. So, in the order of elimination was Javon Evans was eliminated by Logan Paul, LA Knight by Logan Paul, Trick Williams by Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes eliminated Logan Paul, and then Orton eliminates Rhodes. But there was all kinds of shenanigans here at the end that we want to get to. So let's just, before we get to the end, let's talk about the match. What did you think about the match?
I'm a little confused with the Logan Paul stuff, only because it just feels like he has all the makings to be a huge star. And I'm a Logan Paul fan. I love Logan Paul as a heel. I love his in-ring work. I mean, there's really not a lot that I don't like about Logan Paul. So I'm not upset about this. I just feel like they're just keeping him right on that edge of like we want to push him, but just not quite getting us over the moon or over the finish line there. And now with, all of Vision out, I mean, you just stick him with Paul Heyman and see what happens. I mean, what him in theory, like it's just weird. So I think that's my one takeaway is like, man, what are we doing with Logan Paul? This feels so like I don't know what I'm supposed to think about him. And then I will say, we talked whenever Javon Evans was on the John Cena run, when they're doing the NXT stars and the kind of letting him start to become part of the show before he gets onto the main roster. That dude is entertaining as heck. Like Javon Evans is for 21 years old, 22 years old, whatever he is. Like that dude has got star written all over him. I really, really enjoyed Javon Evans.
Yeah, and so when I would say Logan Paul looked really good in this match. I thought that he came out looking like a superstar. Of course, Javon Evans got the superstar entrance, and he had a pretty long entrance, honestly. He came out, and so he looked great in this match. I think, and so did Trick Williams. LA Knight had a big gap where he's going up for his elbow drop, where he bounces from the middle to the top rope, slipped, fell, and tried to play it off and drop the elbow anyway. I just felt bad for him because this goes to the story of, man, this is why Triple H is never going to put you over, is because you have these kinds of moments. But
Yeah.
LA Knight, the crowd still loves him. And let's get to the end a little bit. So we had a masked man come out to, I guess it was a distracting, diversion technique masked man. They unmask him, and it's somebody, I didn't even know who this was. It was a blonde headed guy. Um, and so the doors open, and in comes another masked man. As they're taking out the other masked man, here comes in another masked man who stomps, super kicks Logan Paul, stomps him. Cody Rhodes pins him. Guy takes off his mask. It's Seth freaking Rollins, who is the masked man, and they're going to want us to believe he was the masked man, I guess, this whole time. And Grayson Waller was nowhere to be found. Either he was just a stunt double, but Seth was revealed, and as Seth is looking at Cody, Drew McIntyre comes up and hits Cody with the belt, I believe, and then Orton does a RKO on McIntyre, and then hits Cody hits a crossroads, and then Orton RKO's Cody and pins him to win the match. Which, the buildup was, will he pull the trigger on Cody? Does he have what it takes to do that? And obviously he did. And then you got Nick Aldis going crazy at Drew McIntyre afterwards. Like, you've ruined everything. Why do you do this? I mean, just going ballistic. Like, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are like, hey, who can take it up the next level? Let's just try to outdo each other here as general managers. But they've been probably two of the best ones and the most long lasting ones we've had. But what do you think
Yeah.
about all this messiness with the Masked Man and Drew McIntyre? And then afterwards, just to put a bow on this, Aldis makes Drew McIntyre. He says, you've been trying to avoid Cody, trying to not give him a shot. Well, you're going to face him at SmackDown, I believe it was, right? SmackDown for the championship. You got to fight Cody. So is Cody going to beat Drew and go to WrestleMania and take on Orton? That could be interesting. Or is it going to be a triple threat somehow, or a fatal four-way if you add Jacob Fatu in the mix? I guess tell me about the ending, and then tell me about all the aftermath, what you thought.
Yeah, you asked about the Masked Man. This is based on Snug Wrestling on Facebook. They say it's Sean Logan, who is goes by Sabotage Sean, and he's a Seth Rollins kind of pupil. No idea who that is, and that may not
Just
even
like
be
Don
accurate.
Furio.
But if it's wrong, if it's wrong, blame Snug Wrestling.
I don't even
Snug
know what
Wrestling on
Snug
Facebook.
Wrestling
Give me a shout
is.
out.
I don't even know what that site is, to
And
be honest with you.
yeah. So Sean Logan, just so we're calling out the first Masked Man. Here's the problem I have with this. So the idea here, the shoot here, kayfabe says we're ready for the Masked Man to interfere. So I'm gonna we got security on standby, guy. We're ready. Masked Man's not gonna ruin this match. Drew McIntyre is not gonna ruin this match. I'm gonna empty out 40 dudes to take out this one guy, and nobody's gonna come back to the ring when Rollins comes or when McIntyre. Like, come on. Like,
Well,
what
it's
are we
worse than
doing?
that, man, because how long did they leave the chamber door open? It's like, we're going to leave the door open and let's just see what happens. We're worried about all this commotion, yet we're going to leave the door open for a half hour
Yeah.
to see what may come.
Like, I know Paul Heyman did his thing at his own Hall of Fame induction. And of course, phenomenal promo. And he, says, from now on, I want to be known as a Paul Levesque guy. These are the kind of things from a continuity standpoint that have to be driving someone like Heyman crazy, because this makes zero sense on any level. Just from I'm only playing by their rules in kayfabe. Like, we got the team ready. We're gonna prevent any distractions. Oh, by the way, this is tantamount to, hey, look over there, and then everybody. That's what this is. Like, we're literally gonna do oh, you got something on your shirt, and then flick your nose as you look down like a jerk. I don't know, man. I mean, Did we get what we needed to get with Orton winning the chamber? Probably. Again, kind of what I expected. It felt way too obvious to be Cody. And so if it's not Cody, who's the next logical person? And it had to be Randy. Like there was, again, this really wasn't a surprise, right? Like this is exactly what you expected it to be. Um, I, I, yeah, I'm not going to give you the grade just yet, but it's pretty low.
Well,
I didn't care for this.
here's what I'll say. I mean, with all the talent in this match and with all the high spots, and you had Javon Evans jumping off, getting bouncy off the pod onto Trick Williams, right? Just that kind of stuff. Uh, I think they just missed an opportunity to give us more of those kinds of moments. Now,
Yeah.
I kind of like the Seth Rollins. Let me sneak in while the distraction is being taken away. Why do we need Drew to come in too? Right? It's like let's just throw everything right. And everybody wanted to see if Orton was going to be able to RKO Cody at the right time, and so maybe that's okay. But to me, Barrett even said on commentating, he said, "What a mess the ending of this Elimination Chamber match was." Barrett said that, and I don't know if Triple H liked that, but it was really messy, right? And so I think the match was somewhat disappointing to me because you have all this talent, young talent, old talent. We kind of knew. Even Triple H said after the match, well, Randy Orton winning was a swerve. Like that was something that was nobody saw coming. I don't think I agree with that.
No, I don't see how you I mean, I think the only swerve is if you genuinely expected people to think that Cody Rhodes was gonna win. To me, that is just far too obvious. Like, I never once thought Cody Rhodes would go. Like, you legitimately, Rhodes would have been like my third guess in this. Like, Orton was, for me, clearly number one. And then I thought maybe you could have even had one of the two young guys do it, just if you wanted to go, like, again, if you wanted to swerve us, that would be the swerve. And when I say young guys, I mean uh, Evans and Trick. Um, like, so Cody would have been like my third or fourth guess in this. Like, legitimately, never thought that was there. I think that speaks to the creative team slash Triple H just being totally out of touch with what the fan base is either one wanting or two thinking at the moment.
Well, and to be fair, ever since Cody finished the story, he hasn't had awesome fights and feuds, right? And Drew McIntyre's been one of the better
Yeah,
ones, but it's kind of played out now. It's kind of like, okay, we need to move
yeah.
on. I think that they booked themselves into a corner here when they decided to take the strap off Cody and make him chase a little bit. Now it's kind of awkward what they're going to do. I would love to see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and one of them turn heel. That would be fantastic. What I don't want to see is Cody and Jacob and Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre because Randy won the match. He should face Drew McIntyre one on one. And now you have Friday going, okay, are they going to give it to Cody or not? I don't think they will. Maybe Randy Orton will cost Cody the match. Maybe Sami Zayn will cost Cody the match on Friday and build that story a little bit. But I think Cody's might be on the outside looking in at WrestleMania for any title match.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to do it. I think the one thing I am 1,000% confident in is there is no way that Friday night match go is a clean finish, whichever direction. Um, like it cannot be. It should be. I think if you're going into a WrestleMania match with your top champion, that's what it's supposed to be. Uh, you don't want like, well, he does, he's even with the heel, like he should go in looking like $1,000,000, like this unstoppable monster. Um, and it just doesn't feel like that. And I think again, I think you're 100% right. Whoever Cody's going to feud with at Mania is going to cost him this match. Or unfortunately, because I'm with you, I don't want to see a triple threat. I don't want to see a fatal four way, and that probably is where the whole all this is just getting worked up. All this it keeps not doing it, keeps not doing it, keeps not doing it. Fine, you all want to keep interfering. Fatal four way, we're gonna solve it one way or another, and I hate that, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see pretty soon on this. I think everyone has been saying Cody's gotten boring, and I think it's like, well, here's the thing about baby faces and 100% baby faces like him, like Cena. I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to be a baby face, that long. And so I think, Cody showed some heel tendencies in the past. Maybe we'll get some heel tendencies out of Cody leading up to all of this. Maybe it's just the mental game and he's losing it type thing. Maybe it's Randy Orton that will go heel. One of those two need to go heel. And I think the
Yeah.
funniest thing is, so Drew McIntyre doesn't want Jacob Fatu and doesn't want Cody Rhodes to get that title shot. But I'm okay with Randy Orton, LA Knight, or anybody else. It's like he just not. It's just kind of funny. And to me, here's one thing I know for sure. I gave this match a C, but if I'm being generous, a B minus, somewhere in there. And then the overall chamber I gave a C. Just average. It's average, right? And that might be generous. But here's what I know. This road to WrestleMania has been terrible. Terribly messy, terribly inconsistent. People getting injured. I know that now there's a vision curse about injuries. So
Hmm.
and Seth Rollins is back, but he can't fight Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed, so he's got to go after Logan Paul and Austin Theory, I guess. So I give
Yep.
this an overall C, and I'm not liking where we're heading as far as WrestleMania. I like Punk and Reigns. I kind of like Rhea and Cargill. Other than that, I'm not sure what they're going to do, and so they've got some work to do to make this really, really interesting. And from what I hear, they're having problems selling tickets too.
Literally just it's nice when I can get in front of you a little bit. So as of right now, 35,000 tickets sold on Saturday. 30, and this was published on March 1st, so this is literally published today. 35,000, a little over 35,000 sold for Saturday show. A little over 36,000 showed for Sunday show. Um, Last year, same time, they had sold 113,000 tickets combined for Saturday and Sunday. Um, it's in the same place, so it's crazy. They just dropped the prices. Now it doesn't say what it was before, but right now you can get average. It says average seating, so I'm guessing that means somewhere in the middle, not quite top, not quite low. For both nights, you can get the package 738.75 before taxes. So that is a pretty significant drop according to this, and there has not been much movement by way of sales increase. So just to your point, this has not been a memorable road to WrestleMania, and I think this is one of those things where when you're constantly just churning out this product and by way of revenue, this is the Dallas Cowboys thing. We're all sizzle no steak here. We're making the most money we've ever made. Just keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing what we're doing. Well, meanwhile, you're turning off an entire audience. That's going to intersect at one point. At some point, that's going to catch up to you, and it feels like that may be happening right now.
Well, let's not forget they moved this. It's supposed to be in New Orleans, I think it was, and they moved it back to Vegas because it was
That's
so
right.
successful in Vegas.
Vegas.
But
Hmm.
this might be the first time they've ever done back to back same city, I believe. So you had 2 nights last year, and you're gonna have
Yeah,
2 nights
something like
this
that.
year. Maybe that's just overkill. But here's the biggest thing, Triple H creative team: give us compelling stories. Stop giving us this nonsense. And I think that's why people aren't buying tickets. We don't feel vested in these feuds and matches. It's just, and even the one CM Punk and Roman Reigns, we know we're only going to get part-time Reigns if he wins, and so that's kind of
Hmm.
lingering in the back of people's heads. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they better think about it quickly because you can't go into the last month of WrestleMania not understanding or being in that kind of a ticket situation. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Only one other time in history has it been in back-to-back years. It was in 88 and 89 at Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. So they've really
Oh
never
yeah,
done this
that's right.
before. Yeah, I mean, I hope for the sake of just being a huge wrestling fan that something changes over these next 7 weeks. It's 18 and 19. April 18th and 19th is actual Mania nights. So we got 7 weeks, man. Hopefully something changes between now and then. Um, just not excited right now. And just be totally transparent and honest. And I'm just not excited. I hope it gets better before it gets worse.
Did you give your grade on Elimination Chamber overall?
Oh, well, I'll go C plus. I think every segment I was just a little bit in front of you, with the exception of the actual men's chamber. I think we're on the same wavelength there. So I'll go C plus. And honestly, to me, the women's elimination chamber is kind of what that's for me. It was not the best match of the show, and it's kind of what I enjoyed the most. Unfortunately, it was just kind of downhill from there.
Awesome. Okay, well, there you have it. That's our Elimination Chamber recap show. It's our once a month wrestling show for WWE, and I guess it's 7 weeks till WrestleMania. So maybe we'll have another show about the WWE before WrestleMania. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of storylines we get. But we thank you for being a part of this Dead Jeff Show wrestling, WWE Wrestling Edition. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And for everybody who was a part of this one, thank you. And until next time, peace.